Welcome to Green TV, the show dedicated to positive Green New Deal solutions and the candidates that advocate for them. I'm Gail Farrell-Parker.
And I'm Angela Trusty.
Green TV is about Green New Deal solutions, eco-jobs for the economy, weatherization jobs, positive solutions. In eco-capitalism, prices must tell the environmental truth. Green TV is about the green industrial revolution with solar jobs, wind jobs, geothermal jobs, rail jobs, weatherization jobs, conservation jobs, efficiency jobs. It's about building green neighborhoods, walkable, bikeable, pedestrian, and rail-friendly communities. Green TV is about cutting taxpayer subsidies to zero for fossil fuels, big oil, and big auto. Rail built anywhere in America benefits all of America. Today we are featuring Thomas Breck, candidate for Congress from the great state of Montana. But first we have these short messages.
I'm Audrey Clement, the independent candidate for Arlington County Board. As a 13-year Westover resident and civic activist with a PhD in political science and service as a congressional fellow, I'm running for County Board because Arlington faces several crises that County Board has failed to address. Among them, overcrowded schools, loss of green space, and an office vacancy rate double the historic average. If elected, I pledge to emphasize basic services like streets, schools, libraries, and public safety, seek tax relief for residences and businesses, and stop the exodus of federal agencies from Arlington, promote consolidation of housing programs to improve efficiency, promote installation of efficient renewable energy in all public schools, and provide a voice on County Board for all taxpayers. If you share my agenda, then spread the word about my candidacy. Donate to my campaign. Together we can make the Arlington way more than an empty phrase. I'm Audrey Clement, and I authorized and paid for this.
Ron Fisher is asking all candidates for public office to make implementing the UN Sustainability Development Goals target action plans part of their platform on both the state and local levels. Ron Fisher is a retired U.S. Navy captain and former nuclear submariner and engineer, a pacifist who advocates for the elimination of all nuclear weapons. Ron Fisher is a father, a husband, a grandfather, and the executive director of PeopleNow.org, an independent Green candidate for delegate to Virginia's General Assembly from the 49th District. Ron Fisher supports renewable energy and more trains, less traffic. Vote for more trains, less traffic on November 7th. Vote for Ron Fisher.
I'm Ron Fisher, and I authorized and paid for this message.
In 2005, Gail Farrell-Parker's More Trains, Less Traffic campaign made Gail the first candidate in Virginia to run on the platform for rail. Gail is the first candidate in the nation to run for public office on a campaign advocating for rail as a national security concern that makes the U.S. independent of fossil fuels and makes our air and water healthier. As an on-ballot candidate, Gail advocated for rail in 11 consecutive campaigns, including 2 state-level campaigns for U.S. Senate, and encouraged other candidates to include rail in their platforms. In addition, Gail serves the environment through renewable energy advocacy, and as she picks up steam, the rail platform now champions the handicapped and the elderly. A proud Air Force veteran, civil servant, mother, and grandmother, Gail is on a mission to show that rail built anywhere in America benefits all of America.
33,000 Americans are killed on our roadways every year. 430,000 Americans are injured or maimed on our roadways every year. Every year. Rail is safer. Rail saves lives. Rail cuts dependency on fossil fuels. We can build high-speed rail nationwide for half the total cost of rebuilding roadways and bridges. Rail is fiscally conservative and socially responsible.
If you share Gail's belief that every American deserves a say in the decisions that affect their lives, spread the word about this positive solution to today's issues and climb aboard our campaign for rail and renewable energy.
These petition signatures were collected from thousands of Americans for more trains and less traffic. I'm Gail Farrell-Parker, and I approved this message.
Great news for Virginia voters who are interested in seeing rail in Virginia. Rail can move people forward, the economy, and the nation. We've got a few short messages, but first want to share with you that long-anticipated new Amtrak track and boarding platforms are under construction in Roanoke, Virginia. Construction began early in 2017, and trains could be running as soon as September or November of this year, enabling service directly to Roanoke from the National Capital Region and returning in a timely manner.
Hey Trainiacs, Choo Choo Bob here. Join me now as we explore Roanoke, Virginia, the magical city of trains. Roanoke is a modern city with a historic past. It was the headquarters of the Great Norfolk and Western Railway, and now it's the headquarters for the Norfolk Southern Railway. Roanoke is also home to the Virginia Museum of Transportation, VMT for short. This place is amazing. There's a huge display of antique automobiles. There's a super old Studebaker and a really cool old Mack truck. Look at all the chrome on that trailer. The VMT has fire trucks and a blaze orange snowcat. You could really claw your way over anything with those tracks. Get it? Claw? It's a cat joke. There's also some airplanes inside the museum. Hop inside and see for yourself. Be sure to check out the giant model railroad while you're there too. It's a beauty. Best of all, the VMT has tons and tons of real trains. Here's the Norfolk and Western 1218. This is an articulated steam locomotive with a 2664 wheel arrangement. Built in 1943, it was the strongest pulling steam locomotive of its time. It hauled heavy coal trains and sometimes passenger trains. One of the VMT's newest additions is the Norfolk and Western 2156. With a top speed of 50 miles per hour, the 2156 used to haul coal and heavy freight through the Appalachian Mountains. There's too many more trains to talk about, engineers. Let's just cut to a montage. Some pretty cool stuff, but obviously the most exciting train in Roanoke, Virginia is the Norfolk and Western J611. In 2013, the VMT started the Fire Up 611 campaign to restore the old locomotive to operational status, and let's just say it was a huge success. In early 2015, the 611 hit the rails once more and has been taking Trainiacs on excursions throughout the eastern United States. What an incredible locomotive. It's really the crown jewel of the whole museum collection. Hey, maybe you could ride the 611 someday. Wouldn't that be incredible? Wow, the Norfolk and Western J611 and the Virginia Museum of Transportation. Two great reasons to visit Roanoke, Virginia, magical city of trains.
It has been over 35 years since the last train carrying passengers slipped out of Norfolk, Virginia. December 2012 saw the reemergence of Norfolk, Virginia's reentry into the passenger rail service. Amtrak's Northeast Corridor train now leaves the passenger siding in parking lot D of Harbor Park Stadium. A soon-to-open modern terminal is under construction at that location, adjacent to the Tide Harbor Park Light Rail Station. The train journeys right of way, not normally traveled by passenger trains over 35 years, rolls through Norfolk, Chesapeake, Suffolk, up Highway 460 to Petersburg and Richmond, where the train connects with all Amtrak southbound traffic. And then the train continues on to all major East Coast cities to Boston, Massachusetts. One still needs to ticket with caution. A quick selection could unintentionally get your passage out of Newport News, Virginia, the area's other Amtrak station. A one-way ticket to Washington, D.C. is about $38.
Trainiacs out there. Now, you're watching Green TV. Since the end of the Reconstruction, there have been a total of 30 U.S. senators, 111 U.S. representatives, and 28 governors elected that weren't affiliated with a major party. There are currently 2 independent U.S. senators, King and Sanders, and 4 non-legacy parties, major city mayors. Hundreds of third-party office holders exist at the local level, including those in nonpartisan positions who are affiliated with a third party. Those include 146 Libertarian Party members and 131 Green Party members. Today, we are talking with Thomas Breck from Montana, candidate for U.S. Congress. Hello, Thomas.
I am. I'm running for the United States Senate. I'll be announcing formally, aside from on this show, just after the special election, which will be the first week of June.
The first week in June. And I understand that you were running for U.S. House in that election?
Well, I was running for the House seat in that election. It was a special election, but I was unable to secure ballot access because of an unconstitutional law that our federal courts did not remedy. They identified that it was unconstitutional and unfair, but did nothing to correct that. We are scheduled to be heard by the Ninth Circuit the first week of June, which I really feel confident that they will determine that the law was unconstitutional and that I should have been put on the ballot, but that will do little for this election.
So we'd like to get into that a little bit more, but and just if you have a question, Anna.
First, I think first of all, we're very excited to have you here on the show with us today. It's always nice to get to talk with people from all over the country who are doing big things in their community. Why don't you give us an idea of how you got into politics in the first place? I got to read a little bit about your story before coming in today, but would love to hear in your own words, how did you find yourself in this place where you are running for office?
Well, this journey really began in 2008 when I was working as a carpenter and the economy went flat and I became a displaced worker. That sent me on a path to go to college, which I never thought that I would actually do. There was plenty of work to stay busy, and so I just really couldn't justify it with a family, going into college. But once I was given no choice, I embraced it. I came to college at the University of Montana. I bounced around a little bit from different degrees, journalism. I ended up finding political science fascinating and enthralling and motivating me in a way that I hadn't ever been motivated. I interned with Montperg, a political organization here on campus, and it really honed my activist skills. And so after becoming politically engaged, I became a Democrat with my local party and was a Bernie delegate at the state convention. It was in that process that I was forced to confront the blatant process and rules change that gave Hillary the nomination, even though Bernie was the stronger candidate. I left that convention heartbroken and just completely livid. The very next day, I signed up with the Green Party. I went to work getting Jill Stein ballot access for the 2016 presidential election. And I found a home with the Green Party and a set of ideals that I always believed in. After that, I really, the momentum kind of took its own path, and I was nominated at our Green Party convention, the first one we've had in 10 years in Montana. And it really became a whirlwind of politics from that point. But we didn't have secured ballot access because of a state law that required that minor party and independent candidates obtain petition signatures equaling 5% of the last election cycle voters, which would have roughly been just over 14,000 signatures. And I would have had a very small amount of time, less than a week, to collect those signatures. So it really was an unconstitutional law. We did sue. We took it to the federal court, and the federal court decided that that the law was in fact unconstitutional and unfair, but did nothing to right the situation. We then appealed to the Ninth Circuit, and they agreed to hear the case the week after the election. The first week of June is when they're going to hear the case. We then filed a emergency for an emergency hearing in Justice Kennedy's court, and he denied it. So that essentially ended our campaign for the House of Representatives seat. But it gave us a really great opportunity to build an organization and to learn those crash course lessons that every politician and every campaign learns, and prepped us for this next run that I'll be waging within the next couple of weeks in an effort to win the Senate seat from incumbent Democrat John Tester.
Well, that is great that you're fighting the good fight, Thomas. Thank you for doing that, and stay in there.
Thank you.
So you are going to have to, are the ballot access requirements for U.S. Senate the same as they are for U.S. Congress, or are they different?
They are. The one thing that's different, though, is we have a year and a half to collect our, a year. We have a year. My wife informs me from off camera. We have a year, which we only need 5,000 signatures to secure party access, which would have been 14,000 for an independent candidate or a minor party for that election without being a qualified party. So we are well on our way to getting that 5,000 secured, 5,000 signatures for our party. Once we obtain party status, then we can run greeners throughout the state at every level. So we're working on that effort right now.
So once you obtain access for the party, then the party can nominate candidates the way the two legacy parties nominate their candidates at the moment. Is that correct?
Exactly right.
That's correct. Okay, great. And so you're a new person to the Green Party.
I am.
You're getting ballot access. You're running for U.S. Senate. So tell us a little bit about your platform.
Well, you know, we share the same platform that the Green Party shares, you know, grassroots democracy, ecological wisdom, economic and social justice, and peace. You know, we need to end interventionist policies and stop subsidizing oil companies that are harming both the people and the planet. We need to recognize that the economic inequalities and disparities that we see in our world are a result of a system designed to hurt the people, and we the people need to step up and right this system before we suffer any more harms.
One of the areas, thank you for sharing that, you know, one of the areas where we see members of the Green Party most successful is the work that they do in the community. So whether it's, hey, we're off cycle, we're not during an election season, there's still some great work happening in the community. I wonder if you could share with us a little bit of what's going on in Montana from a Green Party standpoint.
Well, you know, we have long been owned by industry. We'd actually excluded money from politics in our state constitution, which when the Supreme Court ruled in the Citizens United ruling, it actually removed a chunk of our constitution that would exclude corporations from participating in political discourse or involving themselves in politics. We have a lot of tainted water around our state from mining, from the copper barons in the turn of the century. So there is this desire to ward, to defend against these oil companies from polluting any more of our groundwater. We have 7 Native American reservations, and they have suffered at the hands of these ecological decisions by oil companies as well. So there does seem to be a growing mindset and an activation by the people to fight to defend this beautiful state of ours from more industry harms that we've experienced, such as we've experienced in the past. So, I mean, we really do have a great platform for the average person in Montana. It's just getting our word out. You know, we don't take corporate money, so that puts us at a bit of a deficit when getting the word out. Once again, grassroots democracy. We can't win without people power, and it's really hard to get the people power if the people don't know that you're there.
Mm-hmm. Thomas, do you have a 60-second elevator speech that you give?
I've been an activist for much of the last few years, and it's a bit of a different transition being a candidate. So we need to defend water. With it, all is possible. If we have clean water, we can heal the planet, we can heal the people. But without it, we assuredly cannot. Our future will be far more grim if we don't have water to heal us, to grow our food, and to provide the planet with what it needs to live. It is the lifeblood of this planet, and this ecological systems, both big and small, cannot exist without water.
Very good, very good. And now we have a short message on solar energy.
Here's the good news. You have a choice. You can now tap into the sun's natural energy and use it to power everything in your home without having to write a big check to a power company at the end of each month. Here's how it works. Every day, sunlight will stream down onto your solar panels with photons, which are particles of sunlight. Then, the solar panels convert those photons into electrons of electricity using photovoltaic cell technology. The amount of electricity generated depends on the intensity of the sun, but even on cloudy days, your solar panels will still absorb sunlight and generate you energy. Once the energy is transferred from the sun, it flows from the solar panels to an inverter that converts the raw electricity into ready-to-use electricity for your home. You don't have to do anything. What's even better, solar electric systems can produce more electricity than your home needs, and the extra you do not use goes back to your utility grid. This is called net metering, and you'll be able to enjoy watching your utility meter spin backwards. Then at night or on cloudy days when your solar system is not producing enough energy for your home, you will be able to draw power down from the grid, so you never have to worry about running out of electricity. And if you are producing more energy than your household requires, then you'll get a credit from the utility company. You'll feel good about your solar investment, not only because it will provide you with a lucrative annual return that you can rely on, saving you thousands of dollars on long-term utility costs, but because you'll be doing your part in providing a safer planet for you, your family, and future generations. Best of all, it's a lot more affordable than you might think. If you're ready to stop wasting money on high electricity bills and start harnessing the free power that's available to you right now, just give us a call. Mention this video and our friendly team will be able to answer all your questions.
Welcome back to Green TV. I'm Angela Trusty here with Gail Parker. We also are joined with Thomas Breck, Green candidate for U.S. Senate. Thomas, again, excited to have you here on the show with us today. Wanted to talk about something that you mentioned earlier. You said that you left the convention where you were a Democratic supporter and you came and immediately the next day you went to learn about the Green Party. Would love to know how you knew about the Green Party or what inclination gave you that the Green Party's values would match your own. Would love to have you talk about that.
You know, the trip home from Helena, we live in Missoula and the state convention was in Helena. I was just livid. My wife and I were both, we were both delegates. We were both destroyed. We had these ideas in our head about how the process should operate and how it was going to operate, and when it didn't operate that way, we were disheartened. I'm not quite sure where the Green Party came to us. It was really, we woke up the next morning with this great sense of optimism and this idea that the Green Party was our pathway forward. It must have come in a dream because it wasn't like we had it intended on that when we went to sleep the night before. But that very next day, I mean, it just seemed like it was the logical decision, and I don't know why we never considered it previous. And then we started researching the Green Party, and we realized that we never really bought into the ideals of the Democratic Party, but we really identified with the ideals of the Green Party. So it was just a natural fit. But then we realized that there was little to no Green Party politics in Montana. So we immediately started investigating and seeing what we could do to help spur that here in Montana. We got a hold of the previous party members from, I think the last party was 07 was the last convention. So we started just getting to work, getting Jill a slot on the ballot so that we would have someone to vote for. We obviously couldn't bring ourselves to vote for Hillary, considering what had been done in the Democratic process with Bernie. we didn't feel like she was a stronger candidate, and we live in a Republican state. We knew that our electoral was likely to go to Trump, and that the best we could do would be to put a good candidate on the ballot. We knew that she had little chance of winning Montana, but it still was important that people like us have someone that they felt like represented their ideals to vote for.
Okay, wonderful. I also wonder, as you think about Montana voters who may find themselves in a similar position where they're hoping to learn more about the Green Party, any advice? Where would you direct them as they first consider, hey, we heard this convention happened in Montana. We've been hearing Thomas's name around. Where would you direct them?
Well, the Green Party national page would have a link to our state page, or you can go to our state page, which is Montana. mtgreenparty.org. My wife, who's the regional coordinator for Montana for the Green Party, she's the one that heads up all of the page stuff, and she would be the one to reach out to. You can also go to Thomas Breck for Congress.us, and there would be a link to the state party as well as my platform, previous media events, and ways to get involved.
Great.
Great. I had the opportunity to speak with your lovely wife just prior to going on the air. As the last question, Thomas, could you tell us about your family? Do you have children, or just the two of you?
I do. So me and my wife have been together for about 17 years now. We have 3 daughters. My oldest is 15. My middle one is 11, and my youngest is 8. So essentially I have one in high school, one in middle school, one in elementary school. So they're beautiful redheads. They keep me true to my ideals and keep me fighting for a better future.
Well, that's about all of the time that we have for today, Thomas. Thank you so very, very much for being on Green TV with us. And we look forward to having you back again.
I would love it.
You're watching Green TV, the show dedicated to positive Green New Deal solutions and the independent and Green Party candidates that advocate for them. Rail, built anywhere in America, benefits all of America. That's it for today.